For years, Ethan has dreamed of becoming a film director.
My cousin did a course in film and he was telling me how much fun it was and like everything. And he was showing me things in films I'd never seen. And that just fed my interest that I already had from a very young age. And it's just become like the passion. It's the thing I want to do really badly.
Like his father, he's got muscular dystrophy, so spends most of his time in a wheelchair. But it's not stopped him making his own animated films.
Hello there, I'm the doctor. Please. Oh dear.
And getting the grades to get into sixth form. But now he's got a problem.
Just down the road from Ethan's house is a bus stop where a free bus to Halesowen College runs past. Only problem is it isn't wheelchair accessible, so while Ethan's friends will be getting the bus, he's stuck.
The college says he can have a taxi instead, but it'll cost £500 a year. They say he can apply for a bursary, but his dad says that's not the point.
The money isn't important. The fact of equality and equity in access to education is far more important. I've spoken to the bus company. It would cost the college no additional funding to put on a 52-seater coach to accommodate Ethan.
It's left Ethan in a difficult position.
I just feel that this is an unnecessary obstacle. You know, I've been raised to make this not a problem. It's not something that I see as a problem. And it seems like they're making it a problem for me.
He's got the grades to get into college, now he just needs the transport. Matthew Bone, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
For the last few years, there's been a group of people that politicians have tried to speak to and find a name for. The families who work hard, so George Osborne called them
hard-working families.
Ed Miliband said they were getting squeezed by the state, so he went for
the squeezed middle.
Nick Clegg said they got up in time for work, so he went for Alarm Clock Britain. And now the Chancellor Philip Hammond's having a go. He's gone for an acronym, people who are just about managing, or JAMs. Jams. So are you a jam? Am I a jam? Is everyone a jam? Is no one a jam? There's no real definition, but it basically means if you're working but you're still struggling to get by. Now, if that sounds like you probably care less about what you're being called and more about what politicians are going to do for you. And that is going to be Philip Hammond's challenge later today.
Good evening. Paramedics could soon be issued with body cameras across the West Midlands to try to reduce the number of staff being attacked. Last year, there were nearly 300 attacks on ambulance staff. That's almost a third more than in 2012, when 175 were attacked. CCTV cameras are already being fitted to vehicles to offer them extra protection from patients who are angry, drunk or on drugs. A warning Matthew Bone's report includes pictures of injured paramedics.
Paramedics spend their careers helping others, but sometimes they end up in danger from the very people they're trying to help.
First time a patient sort of kicked off in the back of the ambulance, I ended up with 2 cracked ribs. The next time I was spat at. The next time after that I was knocked out by a patient. And the final time in January I had my nose broke.
Attacks like these are increasingly common. Last year, 298 assaults were recorded, around a third more than in 2012. It's come as a shock to some newly qualified paramedics. Amy was left with a broken wrist after treating a patient in July, just months after she started the job.
It's shocking that people think it's acceptable to treat paramedics who are there to help in that manner. There has been a big eye-opening since qualifying, so not as exciting as it used to be. I think when I go back to work, it will affect me. I'll be a lot more nervous at treating patients with similar presentations.
The ambulance service is responding by increasing surveillance to help deter attacks.
This year, cameras have been placed around the outside of the ambulances, 2 on the side, 1 on the front, another one down here at the back. And inside, more cameras, ready to record at the push of a button.
Attendant requires assistance. You are being recorded.
The service is even considering getting cameras for paramedics to wear.
We are conscious that we have CCTV on the vehicles, but should our staff move away from the vehicle, which they inevitably do, we'd like to have the added comfort that they are also covered by another form of CCTV.
Those on the front line say new ideas like these are needed because the situation is critical.
It's a question of when, not if now, that one of us is going to be seriously hurt. And that's going to mean one of us either dead or end up in ITU. And that just cannot happen.
Because how can we expect our paramedics to keep us safe if they don't feel safe?
And Matt is here in the studio right now. So tell us, where are staff being assaulted and why are the attacks on the rise?
Well, if we take this figure of 298 assaults last year and break it down, the Black Country has the most assaults with 89. Staffordshire has the lowest with 29. So why are ambulance staff being attacked? Well, it roughly breaks down into three areas. More than a third of attacks are alcohol or drug related, a large number are from people with mental health problems, and then around a third are harder to explain. They don't fall into any of those set categories. So what about the consequences? There were just 43 prosecutions last year, so only around 1 in 6 assaults ended up in court. And this is one of the reasons for the CCTV cameras. It's hoped filming an assault will make a prosecution more likely. It might even prevent assaults, as some attackers might think twice if they know they're being filmed.